Welcome back to Billins World.
What's up, YouTube? Season 3. Today's episode, we would be doing a classic, ain't even a question, classic album review on Machiavelli, Don Illuminati, Seventh Day Theory, Tupac. His first posthumous album released in November '96, 2 months after his untimely demise. And wow, I done stated so many times, this will now complete for my show Billins World. I have now, after this episode, reviewed all my top 5 all-time favorite albums, and this is definitely one of them. This is my favorite album by Tupac. It really shows he was just warming up, getting started and everything, despite it being his 5th release. And this solidifies him as one of the all-time best with the three-peat of Me Against the World, All Eyes on Me, and Machiavelli. So, a big difference from the prior album, All Eyes on Me, which was my first episode on Billins World. Check that out if you haven't already. And this is more. It's been stated that this was Pac's more of what he wanted to do, fresh out of jail. So if you could imagine, this could have possibly dropped fresh out of jail. Besides All Eyes on Me being dropped. But, that was more like, with the label and everything, celebration of life, and not taking nothing from that album as well. That album is very incredible. But this one here, I appreciate every year more and more as well. So probably one of the best releases of '96. It still shows a competitive standpoint. Even with an album that didn't really have a lot of commercial records, let's be real, it was probably going to be maybe hard to sell to get it to that status of All Eyes on Me with the singles of To Live and Die in LA, which I'm going to get into, Toss It Up, and Hail Mary. And fun fact is that they didn't expect Hail Mary to be as big as it was and everything, and that's shit. Since it came out, one of my all-time favorite songs right there. That second verse should be in Guinness Book of World Records, man. If you know, you know. But man, my boy Cole, man, what do you feel about Machiavelli, bro?
It's a classic, man.
Shout out to Cole.
Machiavelli probably left you on the edge with the whole Tupac dying thing, because it was a great body of work, and it made you want more, and you just knew that with him gone, you weren't gonna get that. You know what I mean? So it's like Machiavelli probably to me was like the last real Tupac album. Like you could tell it was the last piece of art that was actually put together by him. Everything after that was just like a bunch of scattered verses that they just threw on random beats and shit like that.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, a few of those albums that will follow this we're all right, you know what I mean? But this is about Machiavelli here. And despite it coming out 2 months after his passing, he did have his hand in plenty of this and all. But you can even check to see online that there were other tracks that didn't make the final cut and everything. It was even a different alternative cover and all that in the back with an animated version of Dr. Dre, P. Diddy, and R.I.P. Notorious B.I.G. and all. But yeah, and it's like you can't even just categorize this album as a diss album, because you also have special records that, like I mentioned earlier, how this album I appreciate it more every year. Like, records like White Man's World, Hold Your Head, and Blasphemy, and it's like a lot of that shit that he spits on those records. Those particular records, it's like you're gonna be like, wow, this still goes on to this day and everything, and I would say maybe the record Toss It Up, which was a single for this album, which was some tension between Pac and Teddy Riley, because the record does have the similar sounds of No Diggity and everything. And after Pac's passing, Interscope did their little magic to take Toss It Up off the radio in favor of Teddy Riley for No Diggity. No disrespect and everything, but I do feel Toss It Up is better than No Diggity. I just have to say that. But and it's kind of like a schizophrenic record, because it's like it's for the ladies, but he's dissing niggas on it as well, from Dre and Diddy and everything. And It went over some people's heads that a few people got dissed on this album, but you got to really listen carefully in the background and all. One of the Outlaws took a jab at Exhibit on the intro on Bob's
Yeah, I mean,
verse.
Pac was good with that though. Pac was like how Jay and Drake is with the diss and shit. Like they sub real well.
Hey, but Pac would say the names though.
Yeah, nah, he
know.
would say names. Some
And this
yeah,
album,
yeah.
man, the intro of just the talking of the bell ringing and the guy, the unknown guy saying this music news. Like it didn't have you knew Pac was gone, but you would feel like damn. But in a way, this album does have that vibe of that he's speaking from the essence and all. I bet people were probably scared to listen to this album. Me as a young kid, I'm all thrown off by it, knowing it's Tupac, but I'm like, what's Machiavelli? And then it was pretty eerie and all, with him on the cross and everything. But I would have no idea that some years later this would be, one of my all-time favorites. I've played thousands of times, and I'm gonna keep playing it. R.I.P. to the legend and all. And it was really big with the alias thing. Machiavelli being his alternative stage name, and in the back where it says executive producer instead of saying Suge Knight, because this is a Death Row release. It said Simon, which was I believe a code name or a nickname, whatever, for Suge and everything. And one of the best, definitely Death Row record releases and all, and that says a lot when you also have
Doggy Style and all eyes on me and all that. Yeah, like
the
The Chronic. That's a lot. That's a big statement to make.
Yeah. Yes.
It's preference though. Depends on what you like more. You know what I mean? But hey, I'm not against that either because Machiavelli was a very good album. So yeah, that's up for debate. If you guys agree, let us know in the comments. And if you don't, let Billin have it in the comments.
Yeah, hit that damn bell. Like, comment, subscribe. All real hip hop heads, this for y'all. 1996, man. 7 Day Theory shit right here, man. And I have to say that for the track, which was another single, which was probably the one that had the radio feels to it. Pac was allowed to film a video for this track, To Live and Die in L.A.
That's my shit.
Very
man.
feel good record. I have to say, even as a kid, it made me be like, wow, like this is the place to be. I probably got in trouble for blasting it loud to the highest max
That was
volume.
my shit, man. Like off that album, bro, I listened to that song so many, and it's really because of the beat, the way she's singing on the record and stuff like that. Like that's a classic record right there, man.
And with this album, how it had the movie vibes, if you remember how every track ending, it would just fade into the next one. And all that was very dope. Something you don't really get nowadays. And if you notice the intro on the final cut for this album, which with the 12 tracks, the intro to Live and Die in LA has the audio of the Do You Like Tupac's record, and he's talking about had sex with your wife, none of those words. That was supposed to be the intro for Watch Your Mouth, which was taken off this album. That was a Nas diss and Dr. Dre diss as well. But higher power did they magic to take the record off, and some people have stated Watch Your Mouth is better than Hit 'Em Up. I wouldn't say that, but it is dope. It has, the production wise was dope, actually produced by the guy that directed the All Eyes on Me movie and everything. Shout out to Duke on that. A lot of people probably didn't fuck with the movie, all that yada yada, but that's neither here or there. But the original intro to Live and Die in LA had like this nice tone of they're playing like sounds of some of the radio stations out there, and you just hear Pop with the whole "I love LA," and then it starts off the record and everything. But it's on YouTube as well, the original and everything, director's cut of Machiavelli and all. So yeah. And we didn't even need, there's no disrespect, we didn't really need a lot of the crazy West Coast production that we had for All Eyes. I mean, he didn't want to do the same album twice in a row and everything, so it was actually Pac's choice to go to what was called the WAC room of the production area of the studio. And he was like trying to give these producers that weren't as big a chance and everything, from Hurt 'Em Bad and everything and all that. But yeah, not a lot of Johnny J's or some Dre or DJ Quick. Of course not Dre, because Dre at this point is out of Death Row. But yeah, I felt, it was like some of the mind you, this album is mostly done by some R&B producers, man. So, and man, they really showed out on this. Shout out to the Outlaws. This was the start of albums to come out of the Outlaws, all coming out with their names and everything. That's why it's hence is Machiavelli and not Tupac and all. And let's not forget, it is called Seventh Day Theory. Original title 3-Day Theory. He recorded in 3 days, but it took 4 to add the production, so that equals 7. Obviously, hey, not to get a mathematician, but and just like how All Eyes on Me, which I mentioned, took 2 weeks, and all this right here, man, 7-Day Theory, man. And
yeah, I mean, if you stay, listen, man. I made albums in a day. I made Too Easy in a day, in 1 day. So if you really sit there and you stay in the studio like non-stop and stuff, it's definitely possible. But to make a classic like that in a week, it
just shows the impeccableness, the artistry of Pac, very professional. Definitely lived
the work ethic too. Work ethic, the commitment, everything. That's not easy to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? To make a classic in 7 days. Shit, nigga, it took me a year to make Welcome to 680. You know what I mean? That's my best album. That to make that in 7 days, that speaks a lot about your talent. So, okay, the top 3 songs that you like, that Billin likes off of Machiavelli is...
Hey, let's go with Hail Mary. Against All Odds. That closes out the album. So the Hail Mary, Against All Odds, man. And this is the thing. I know you just said the name 3 and all, but again, that 3rd slot to Live and Die in LA, man. Because like I reflected on that, previously, and also, and this is definitely a classic in a top 5 where every now and then I could have, you just asked me to name 3, I did and all, but some days it might be different. One day it could be Blasphemy, it could be White Man's World, it could be
so
me and my
varies.
girlfriend, you know. But them 3 I had to put out there. And also, and there's the rumor that was thrown out there that Against All Odds, which ends the album, and I just love the Godfather 3 sample, If You Know, You Know, as the track closes with the helicopter and the shooting. Like, that's why it was like Pac speaking from the essence with the whole like, I got my money right now on war, and you just hear the gunshots taking I'm going off, and it's like, wow. But it hits you like, man, he's gone. And I love Nas, and everything. It probably wouldn't be this album without it was written. Let's be real, because this album is done. But y'all on to something. This album is done in the tone of it was written, both released in '96. Probably the 2 best of '96 for me, and that says a lot. '96 had so many bangers. I did reviews on them on my channel and all. Check them out. But it was that rumor, whatever. Like I was gonna say that Against All Odds was gonna get taken off. That Pac and Nas linked 3 days before the fatal trip to Vegas and all, but it remained on the album. So maybe the executives and all were like, "Oh, F Nas, leave it on there." But it's taking nothing from Nas at all and everything. And Nas really felt that record when he heard it. I believe he even admitted in a magazine, it made him even shed some tears and all. But that, not taking nothing from that, the fuck, like, it was more of him feeling it because Pac was gone and what could have been and everything. So, but I love Against All Odds. He's really talking to real, not just the rappers, some real street dudes up on that track right there. And one of the best ways, like I said, one of the best ways to end the album with only 12 tracks, and this packs a punch, man. To say that All Eyes on Me, we had like 25 plus tracks.
Back then, that's when you could do that. Back then, you could put as much music on the album as you wanted to, and niggas would listen. Nowadays, they're so like, short-term attention span. So it's like 11, 10, 12 the max,
Yeah, but with this album having just the 12 on the final cut, because like I mentioned earlier, the original cut had more tracks that got taken off. Yeah, but with the 12, man, it packs a damn punch and all. And man, what else else could I say?
All right, so you said a lot of positive things about this album, right? What are the negatives? Any negatives?
Man, I can't even front, man. To me, it's damn near flawless. Probably the only negative is that Pac didn't see this drop, man.
Okay, yeah, that's a good negative, yeah. Or I would have loved to see Pac see the
Probably
success
a few more
of this.
videos, you know, and mind you, when he passed, he's still doing videos for All Eyes on Me, because that still was busting, you know? Because I believe look how this would go on to influence 50 Cent. How 50, I believe, had a video for every track on the Massacre album, his sophomore joint, which I reviewed. Check that out on my channel, y'all. Excuse me. And he still was filming videos, because I remember the All About You video came out and anything, like, you know, after he passed, you still seeing videos drop for All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli. So, but the official last video he filmed was Toss It Up. There's different versions of that. There's that little, I think they're like a little warehouse garage type thing with Lisa Ray was in it and all. And shout out to the features, Danny Boy, Casey JoJo, Aaron Hall. And there's a version of them on the beach as well with that. And there's even like a part where Pac is like on a throne. Go look that up, man. That was like so dope to see. I mean, like I said, unfortunate he would pass, but that was like, man, like he solidified his spot. Greatness, and I know he would have did more work and all, and even with Hollywood and all with acting, but man, he could have like not dropped anything after this had he lived, and you know, but he was
he would have been good. Yeah, he had so much work that was
some of the best ever. Got that
definitely
three
between Tupacalypse and All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli. Like Pac could have not made another fucking album for the rest of his life, and it would have been good. All right, now this goes back to earlier, though, because earlier at the top of the program, you said that you covered all of your top 5 favorite albums, right?
Yes.
So, where does Machiavelli rank in those 5?
Man, some days it can be the top spot, but
So it depends on what you feel like listening to. Okay.
Yeah. And as well, it was written is also in my top 5. And this album was, you know, remember this is still hip hop being real competitive. So in a way, yeah, you might think, oh, it was written as the Mafia type album, you know, mafioso, shiny Nas, whatever. And this is like Pac on a cross. So you're thinking, oh, this is just wartime and all, and it's real dark and everything. But you know, we have Me and My Girlfriend, which is about a gun, but in a more like, you know, rugged way. But then Nas was grimy as well with the I Gave You Power, which, and mind you, it was written drop first. So you would have those, and you would have Nas had Black Girl Lost. Machiavelli album has Just Like Daddy. That's a little similar vibes, you get what I'm saying? So how he was definitely, you know, it's been stated, I stated before, you know, Pac was listening to It Was Written in his last days.
I always say that Pac was a conscious gangster. That's how I feel like he was a conscious gangster.
Man, just getting warmed up with this drop, man.
They're all conscious gangsters.
Like, you know, and eerie that it's bullets going towards him on the cover. I don't know if anybody know that, man. And you got places like some towns, East Orange, like, you know, because he wanted to have the compass of the East and West on the cross, and it's just so fucking iconic.
He has East Orange, New Jersey on there?
I believe so, yeah. He has some Jersey places on here because it's like a compass of East and West on the cross. So, I mean, you know, vintage shit right here, man. Cassette tape still in the plastic and all, man. I don't play, man, with this hip-hop shit, bro. I mean, R.I.P. Tupac. Machiavelli lives, damn it. 96 shit, man. Top 5 fucking album.
Yeah, bro. Show him that cassette that you got, man, because that kind of blew my mind earlier. Peep that out right there. Flip it around so they can see the gold cassette. My boy has the cassette to Machiavelli. You know what I mean? That's classic shit right there, vintage.
It's one of those albums that from cassettes to CDs to streaming, always gonna be in my life, man. You know, I want to be retired on an island still playing 7th Day Theory. So, yeah, what y'all think? Like, comment, subscribe. It's Machiavelli Top 5. And let's not forget the main topic of the episode, Machiavelli 25. So I can throw it out there with the top 5 once again. Can't get enough for that. Yeah, man, on 6 shit, top 5, Machiavelli 25, man. And real quick, man, my boy Cole hit him with the brand shouts.
So look, right behind Billin, we got Jiggy Mafia clothing right there, and then we got Hit My Line accessories. The websites are jiggymafia.com and hitmylineaccessories.com. You need some fly gear, jiggymafia.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, hoodies so far. If you need some smoking gear, headphones, and etc., hitmylineaccessories.com. If you guys would like to sponsor the show, hit us up at hitmylineaccessories.com, jiggymafia1000 at gmail.com, or just DM us. You know, you could DM Billin, you could DM me on Instagram. All of our Instagram info and etc. is in the description box on YouTube. Billin, is there anything else you want to say?
Hey, man, I mean, Against All Odds, make Nas shed some tears. Charlie Baltimore, shout out to her, had been let it be known that Big was playing this album. You know, and let's not forget, man, a lot of that beef was like all media driven and all that. But this intro is so dope. To the outro to Against All Odds, man, it's just so, man, I just appreciate it more and more as time goes on and all. And like I said, I feel a lot of people sleep on it as well, man. Like, I'm gonna say how I feel about it, but I felt, damn, a lot of y'all sleep on Machiavelli. But hey, I know it has its real core audience, core fans out there. Shout out to all y'all. You know what I mean? And timeless shit right here, classic shit, man. Even to throw it out there with it was audio, it wasn't Pac saying it, but the Jay-Z from Hawaiian Sophie fame, you know what I mean? So, and all that, but this birthed a lot of Pacs after Pac's passing, I would say that as well. I mean, not gonna get into the whole naming artists and all, but it's part of the business and all.
Look, man, you don't have to name no names, you know what I mean?
You know
what I mean? We all know who it is, like, at the end of the day. If you're a real hip-hop fan, you know who was influenced. No need to throw no dirt on nobody's name or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, there's rules to this shit.
Word up, man, and wow. Hey.
All right, man. So, Billins World, make sure you guys check in on
Season 3.
the digital platforms as well: iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
West Side.
Of course, check us out on YouTube, jiggymafia.com for the clothing, Hit My Line accessories, for the smoking brand, rolling papers, glow trays, regular trays, etc., etc. Billins sign out.
Peace, y'all, all the hip-hop heads out there, all everybody supporting the channel and all that, my boy Cole. See y'all next time.
Peace out.